will we will be free. For when the rising tide is turned in every London quarter, Parliament comes crashing down with Robert's Rules of Order.
Okay, April the 11th. Usually, the composition of the executive committee is a bunch of half-wits and ne'er-do-wells. No. A, is never placed in the bylaws. B, is a specified number of board members that would never include the president or chair. C, is specified in the bylaws. So you know one of those two would contradict. D, is seldom necessary for an organization.
Say that again?
Usually the composition
of the
executive committee.
Mm-hmm.
A, is never placed in the bylaws. B, is a specified number of board members that would never include the president. C, is specified in the bylaws.
C.
Or D, is seldom necessary for an organization.
C.
Well, the answer is C, although I like D.
What confused me was the usually thing. I didn't hear usually at first because, for instance, on the LNC, the executive committee is not in our bylaws. It's in our policy manual. It's special rules of order. So that kind of made me concerned there for a second.
And we don't actually have one in Colorado, so.
No, but we don't need one.
Thank God. California has one. It can be a pain sometimes. Anyway, 45 and lines 17 to 19.
And the LNC one is really, really limited.
Because you guys meet on a quasi-regular basis.
Well, and we could do email votes. The only thing the executive committee is used for on the LNC is things that need a quicker turnaround than the email vote.
That's how California works.
Yeah. So.
It was the executive committee who appointed me Southern Vice Chair in an emergency because the Vice
that's
Chair
the only thing
Southern Vice Chair resigned. Right.
So lately, it's just been ballot access and like lawsuits.
Yeah. Which are not exclusive.
They're usually not exclusive.
Yeah, okay, 17 and 19. This is executive committee. I'm going to start from the top at line 6.
Yeah, because you can't trust April.
No kidding.
Now, April's a freaking bitch.
To our audience, they kept getting the things wrong here.
Yeah, April's a high bitch.
I'm so surprised you've had a couple of beers.
No, the citations have been wrong.
No, the calendar, whoever wrote April.
Ding. Okay, executive committee. In a society where the board is large or its members must travel from a distance to meet, it is usual for the bylaws to establish an executive committee composed of the specified number of board members, which shall have all or as much of the power of the board between meetings, just as all the board has all or much of the power of the society between the society's meetings, but which cannot alter any decision made by the board, just as the board can alter any decision made by the society. All clear so far?
Yes, actually there's some interesting things here.
The executive committee is thus really a board within a board and operates under the rules in this book applicable to boards rather than those applicable to committees. This is where you got to know the difference between a board and a committee. Mm-hmm. Usually, the membership of an executive committee is specified in the bylaws rather than being left to the choice of the full board. It is advisable that the executive committee shall be small, and unless it has been authorized to conduct electronic meetings, different pages, that its members live near enough to each other to be able to hold frequent regular meetings and also special meetings when necessary. The executive secretary, if there is one, should work closely with the executive committee, but should be appointed by the parent body or at least by the board. A board cannot appoint an executive committee unless the bylaws so authorize.
Really? Do the national bylaws authorize an executive committee?
I don't know.
Well, that's another question. We'll take a look at that because it's not provided for, it's not specified in our bylaws. It's in our policy manual.
Right.
But it's probably under the plenary control or whatever clause.
Maybe, but it's worth a look.
Yeah, that's interesting.
To be honest, I don't remember.
I don't remember it either.
Yeah.
But the interesting things I want to bring out here is this cascading effect where it talks about the executive committee cannot alter decisions of the board and the board cannot alter decisions of the society.
Right.
We had that somewhat come up where a certain committee member thought that they could rescind a decision of the convention. Remember about the proviso?
Oh, yes.
You can't. The society is the highest authority.
Right, they're the bottom line.
Right. So I like that cascade that they showed there.
And it makes logical, perfect sense.
Yeah.
So, but the other interesting part of this, though, is that the members live near enough to each other to be able to hold frequent regular meetings. Maybe 100 years ago.
Yeah, that is really outdated.
The executive committee in California, and I was on it at one point, was all over the state.
Yeah.
We did everything by telephone and by email. We did not meet in person because we were never near each other in person.
That's really antiquated.
Yeah.
And
when the chair was in San Jose, the southern chair is in Riverside, the northern chair is in frickin' Grass Valley, which is halfway between Sacramento and Lake Tahoe. You're not near each other.
we wouldn't need an executive committee on the LNC if our notice requirements for electronic meetings wasn't 10 days, which is ridiculously long.
10 days notice before the electronic meeting? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little long.
That's long. Our email ballots used to be 10 days, so I got it switched to 7.
Right.
Now I'm going to try to get the meetings switched to 7, but I actually think meetings should be less than that, 48 hours for an electronic meeting.
I was going to say 3 days. But
or 3 days.
Yeah.
Then you wouldn't need an executive committee.
Right.
Then the full LNC could make decisions, because that's the executive committee really does nothing else but emergency stuff, at least on the LNC.
Yeah.
And I like it that way. A lot of organizations will use the executive committee to really be an end run.
Doesn't the National Executive Committee have to have their decisions ratified by the full LNC later?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
But the full LNC later could override it.
Yeah.
But we don't have to have ratification, no.
Got it. Okay, makes sense.
All right.
Straightforward.
All right, so that was the 11th.
That was the 11th, and we call this executive committee, which we don't really have none.
Well, it's an executive committee of me and you.
Gavel's weak. Make it louder.
Oh, he's saying you have a weak gavel. Ooh, that's
and how would he know?
Words. Those are fighting words there.
Has he been playing with my gavel?
Purely observation.
He's been observing your gavel.
Pervert.
All right, we're good then.
Yeah.
Favor! Let's hear the opposition side. Like a stubborn donkey's bray. All opposed? You say nay. Opposed! Opposed! The motion carries anyway.